I was going through hours of late-night footage when something caught my attention. At first, it looked like just another security tape. Empty hallways, flickering lights, the usual. But then, frame by frame, details started to appear that no one had noticed before. A shadow crossing without a source. A chair moving slightly when no one was in the room. Voices picked up on the microphone that weren't supposed to be there. These aren't stage clips. These are real moments caught when people least expected it. Families reviewing baby monitors only to freeze when they see a figure standing in the corner. Workers closing up a store at 3 a.m., convinced they're alone until something walks past a camera right behind them. In one case, the footage from a rural gas station showed the door opening and closing for nearly an hour straight. Even though there was no wind, no malfunction, nothing that technicians could explain. The strange part is, whenever investigators try to analyze the recordings, files would suddenly corrupt or vanish, like something didn't want the truth coming out. One of the most unsettling cases came from a small apartment complex just outside of Chicago. A tenant complained to the landlord that her lights kept turning on and off at exactly 2:17 every night. At first, nobody believed her until the landlord checked the building's internal cameras. On 3 separate nights, you can clearly see the hallway outside her door empty. No one walking past, yet the bulb inside her living room begins to flicker violently. Then, for just a split second, a dark silhouette appears pressed against her door, as if something was waiting to be let inside. Another clip came from a delivery driver who kept hearing strange knocks on his truck while parked overnight, when he set up his dash cam to catch whoever was messing with him. The recording showed the windshield fogging up from the inside, as if someone was breathing heavily even though he was outside the vehicle at the time. What makes it worse is that faint handprints appeared on the glass, smaller than a child's, smearing downward as if something was trying to crawl out. There's also the case of a rural farmhouse in Texas, where multiple cameras caught movement in the fields. Every night, at almost the exact same hour, a figure could be seen walking slowly toward the property, but the closer it gets, the more distorted it becomes. By the time it reaches the edge of the fence, the image glitches, the figure disappears, and then reappears several feet closer in an instant, almost like the footage skipped. But the timestamp remains uninterrupted. The people who reviewed this footage reported more than just technical issues. Several claimed to hear whispers in the room while watching, voices layered under the static, saying things they couldn't quite make out. Some even reported having the same dream the night after, standing in a long, dark corridor, chased by something they couldn't see, but could feel breathing just behind their necks. In one recording from a hospital security camera, the night staff noticed that doors in the pediatric wing kept swinging open, even though the area had been locked down. When they reviewed the footage, the doors seemed to move in perfect sequence, almost as if someone invisible was walking the halls. But the most disturbing part wasn't the doors. It was a faint reflection in the glass. If you slow it down, you can see the outline of a figure in a hospital gown standing completely still, watching the nurses as they pass by, even though no patients had been admitted to that section in months. A similar pattern appeared in footage from a subway station in New York. The station had closed hours earlier, yet one camera picked up a man sitting alone on a bench. His posture never changed. He never blinked, never shifted. What caught investigators off guard was the fact that when another camera caught the same angle from the opposite side, the bench was empty. It was as if the figure only existed in one lens, locked inside that single frame. Technicians swore the cameras weren't malfunctioning, and yet the figure remained, sitting there for almost 45 minutes before suddenly vanishing mid-frame. Then there's a case of a family in Florida who started noticing strange noises in their backyard shed. When they installed a simple motion camera, they expected to see raccoons or stray animals. Instead, they caught a pale face peering directly into the lens, inches away, eyes wide open, unblinking. The strange part is, the recording doesn't show anyone approaching or leaving the shed. 1 second the space is empty. The next second the face is there, as if it had been standing still the entire time, waiting for the exact moment to reveal itself. Some of the most terrifying footage comes from places where nothing should ever move at all. Abandoned buildings, sealed rooms, and forgotten warehouses. In one warehouse in Detroit, a locked storage room was found open, with crates pushed to center. The cameras showed no one entering or exiting, but at 3:12 a.m., the boxes started shifting on their own, dust scattered in the air, forming shapes that almost resembled human outlines. When the footage was analyzed frame by frame, for less than half a second, two distinct faces appeared in the dust cloud, staring directly into the camera. A case that still unsettles seasoned investigators happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio. A family had installed cameras around their property after hearing scratching sounds on their roof night after night. At first, nothing unusual showed up, just trees swaying, the occasional raccoon. But on the third week, one of the roof cameras captured something impossible. A figure crouched on all fours, pale and elongated, clinging to the shingles like an insect, its head turned almost completely around to face the camera. And though the clip lasted only 3 seconds before the feed cut to static, the family swore they heard footsteps running across the roof for hours afterward. Another disturbing case came from a school janitor who often stayed late to clean. His handheld camera caught rows of lockers slamming open and shut simultaneously, even though there was no one else in the building. The audio recording picked up a voice, childlike, high-pitched, repeating the word stay over and over, even as the janitor insisted he was alone. What made this clip even more terrifying was that when the footage was slowed down, the reflection in the janitor's mop bucket showed several small figures standing behind him, though nothing appeared in the hallway itself. In Mexico City, a parking garage camera recorded an event that technicians still can't explain. A car alarm went off at 2:44 a.m., and when the security team rewound the feed, they saw a woman in a white dress walking slowly between the cars. The strange part is that the cameras are motion activated, and hers never triggered the sensors. She walked directly under them, yet her figure appeared blurred, as though the lens couldn't focus. Minutes later, the car's interior lights switched on by themselves, and the horn began blaring continuously until battery drained. The car's owner, terrified, sold the vehicle the very next week. One of the most chilling clips came from an elevator inside a government building. The video shows the elevator stopping on random floors, doors open in empty hallways, and then closing again. But at the 7th floor, something leaned into the elevator just as the doors were closing, long fingers curling unnaturally around the metal frame, almost as if trying to keep the door from shutting. The hand withdrew instantly, but when investigators paused the frame, they noticed it had more than 5 fingers, all far too long to belong to a human being. Some videos even suggest these manifestations feed on attention. In one case, a live streamer in Los Angeles left his camera rolling while he slept. Thousands of viewers reported seeing a shadow pass behind him multiple times, even though his door never opened. The eerie part, the longer people watched, the louder the noises in the room became. Closet doors creaking, drawers opening, faint whispers building into distorted voices. The more eyes on the stream, the stronger the activity became, as if it needed an audience to exist.